This is IBM Museum, and this video will be another unboxing. I received a flat package here today. Let me get flipped around. I'm going to give all of the screen to my bench, and I can flip to the camcorder when the time comes. But I got this flat cardboard put together, and do not bend on it. I know what this is, so I'm going to pull out my knife and go through, and we will carefully cut this open. Okay, there's not tape on that side at least. And as you can see, that's from eBay. And I guess I could go through and cut everywhere where it says eBay. That'll maybe what the trick to what it is to open this. Okay, and they are in plastic wrap, so that's great. They look to be in good condition. And there's a paper here, and I'll probably go through, and yeah, that's an invoice. And since that has my information on it, everything else, we just tuck that face down. Now the two brochures, and we'll see what order these are in. Nice plastic wrap. I prompted the seller if he had any hardware for these. He says, I just got the brochures and just the two of them. Oh yeah, that's in great order, and it's even got the backing in there. I'll put these in the envelope right after I am through looking them over, and I'm going to go through and scan them. And they're designed to go in binders, and they're double-sided. I think I knew that from the auction too. Let's go to the camcorder, because that's going to give us a little bit better view. And I'll have to make sure that this is, because I have the ring light turned all the way up, and it still looks sometimes kind of dark on my recording screen. Hopefully it won't get too much glare from this too, because these are glossy print. Okay, so the one on top, and these are for the Cumulus memory adapters that are microchannel. This one on top is the CuRAM-32, and we can see there it's a 32-bit bus, and it goes through, and probably what I can do, well, let's see, what is our zoom capabilities without going and getting too much glare off of this. And I don't know what kind of tabletop, if that's like a granite tabletop or some other thing that they have on there. And so, yeah, I don't even have to necessarily read. Microchannel memory for the PS2 model 70 and 80. True 32-bit operation for optimal performance. Supports expanded, in parentheses, EMS and LIM, and that stands for Lotus, Intel, and Microsoft, for those, that LIM acronym. And that was the three of them worked together, since they were the major participants in their field, and came up with an EMS memory protocol or standard. And version 4 was kind of the one of them, of the protocols that was in effect, or the standards that was met. OS2, Xenix, Unix, and DOS compatible, up to 8 megabyte per board, user upgradable with standard 256 kilobyte and 1 megabyte SIMs, automatic detection of type and amount of memory, error detection and automatic remapping, allows optional serial and parallel daughter board. And that's what I'm kind of interested in that for this board. Switchless installation and configuration. IBM assigned ID eliminates conflicts with other products. Now the Cumulus board seemed like they went through and they had subsequent adapter description file numbers. They went through, and if you increase the memory, it was a different adapter description file. And we'll get back to that page in just a moment. Okay. The CU-32 lets you take full advantage of your IBM models 70 and 80. CuRAM-32 supports and runs in matched memory mode for the fastest operation. CuRAM-32 is designed to operate at maximum speed on 16 megahertz and 20 megahertz systems. Also operates on systems operating at higher speeds. The CuRAM-32 is your complete memory module for the model 70 and 80, up to 8 megabyte of 32-bit memory. Okay. And just kind of scan over some of the get that in a right way to be focused. Even does power consumption of the adapter. Okay. And for 100 nanosecond RAM, actually for the model 70 and 80, that is kind of slow. Okay. Error detection, automatic remapping. Memory test at boot. Automatic remapping around failed memory. Full microchannel support. Okay. No switches to set that recognizes the type and amount of memory installed. Using an IBM assigned adapter ID. Surface mount technology multi-layer board per microchannel specifications. They're just talking about this PCB having multi-layer. And I guess anything above 1 is multi-layer. And there is their location, Cumulus Corporation in Cleveland, Ohio. And I think I got this from that area. I wonder if he... No, he's in Pennsylvania. I don't know why I was thinking of around the... Well, I was probably thinking of something else up in the Cleveland area. Okay, call your local computer dealer for more details about the CuRAM or other Cumulus products. We are dedicated to bringing you tomorrow's products today. And they have all the little trademarks and everything else there. Okay, and I'm going to flip back over on this paper before I kind of go on to the other one. Because the CuRAM, I do not have this adapter. I've got some other Cumulus 32-bit boards, but they don't have the pin headers here that we're going to talk about. And I was mainly interested in, I wanted to see if there was a picture of that, what they call the IO daughter card. Where did it was down the, allows optional serial and parallel daughter board. Yeah. Okay, and we're going to go on to the next one. And this is actually interesting to me for the fact that it's got these nice gold Texas Instruments chips, and even is detailed enough glossy brochure to show the Cumulus Corp 1988 CuRAM Plus, and actually it's a CuRAM-16 Plus, or maybe they were just calling the CuRAM Plus on the earlier, but this is 16 bits. And it shows actually this kind of the stack, effectively 6 30-pin SIM slots, and that's only the one side. There's another column of 6 there as well, and so you can have 12 SIMs on this board of those 30-pin SIMs. Okay, so microchannel memory for the PS2 models 50, 50Z, and 60. Okay, there it's marked as CuRAM-16 Plus. Easy installation. Talk about OS2, Xenix, Unix, DOS compatible. They talk about all the same features. Gets up to the up to 12 megabyte of extended expanded memory per board. It goes over the same LIM, Lotus, Intel, Microsoft standard. And faster multitasking operation using 4 separate sets of mapping and DMA registers. That's kind of interesting. User upgradable standard 256 kilobyte and 1 megabyte SIMs. And then it's got the same thing at the bottom. And ASIC and surface mount technology for highest performance and reliability. Optional serial and parallel daughter board for increased functionality. And it's on the same sort of granite tabletop or whatever where they do to take the picture. And there's the specifications. All 4 memory protocols in hardware. Okay. Yeah, there they listed the Lotus, Intel, Microsoft standard. And they even talk about efficient multitasking in Windows 2.03, Excel, and Desk View. Some names from the past. And CuRAM-16 Plus is your complete memory module for the IBM models 50, 50Z, and 60. Up to 12 megabyte of memory. Save your slots. With the CuRAM Plus, you can have up to 12 megabyte of memory per board using standard SIMs, single inline memory modules. Okay, and up to 12 megabyte with 1 megabyte SIMs. Okay. Optional module serial and parallel port, DOS and OS2 compatible. Okay. And that's what we're kind of interested in. And that's what I'm kind of getting to. Okay. And this is a really nice, this is effectively a really nice board in this configuration for the 50 and 50Z. As I say, save your slots because that's a commodity on the 50 and 50Z. You only have the 3 slots. I'm going to try and zoom out a little bit. Now, this is obviously an earlier version of the CuRAM-16 Plus. Now, this is probably extremely early. And I'm trying to think if we were seeing 1987 copyright dates or not, or whatever. Yeah, 1980 copyright, 1987 Cumulus Corporation. So you have to remember the PS2's initial release was in April of 1987. So pretty much right after they came out. Now, I speculated before that these daughter cards for the memory in this board probably came off. There was a board that was probably for the like the IBM AT or something of that nature, with a standard ISA bus, and they had those daughter cards that you put on for the RAM, and it's the memory boards would go, you know, from this header all the way over to, there's 3-pin headers here and here, and then another memory card here and across these. And so this is kind of an early adapter that probably took those same memory boards have used in another adapter, an ISA adapter, and just put them on microchannel. And then it has an the I/O, or the serial and parallel port daughter card, and that's got various headers around too. This shorter header, there's a 3-pin header down here, 3-pin header, 3-pin header, just like it is for like the memory daughter cards. And I'll bet you these 3-pin headers are probably power. I've kind of gone over these adapters in some prior videos, but I wanted to get the brochure in. And so I don't have any, I mean, I've seen pictures of the memory modules that go on this, but I don't have any to go with this board. It wouldn't be worth it for me going through and determining the pinouts and stuff like that of that. Might be an interesting challenge, but that's probably a lot of time for. It'd be nice to have a separate module, and that would make the decoding of that a lot easier for those headers. And I wish I had the I/O port daughter card, because that's what I'm mainly focused on. I'm going to try and or reverse engineer to determine the pinouts of these headers and come up with that I/O board. I've got the chips off the side. I do have the later versions of this board. I've got 2 of them. And they do have the Texas Instruments chips. And you can see, you know, they went through these nice gold chips initially, probably a little bit more limited production, or their prototypes prior to the release. And once they got into production, went to the where the chips had been put in a plastic package. And this is a revision A. I don't see. And all that, I don't see a really a revision listed. And maybe for the first revision, they're not labeling it. The next one out, they're labeling as revision A, and then one after that, revision B. But those are just the plastic versions. And I mean, otherwise, it looks like all the same electronics in that area. And in fact, probably even the same pinout of those Texas Instrument chips. And this is, you see there, copyright 1989. So this is a little bit later in the game. I think both of my boards here are revision A. And just a difference of black or white SIM sockets. Otherwise, all functionally identical. And then marked on the back like that. And that I/O board, of course, you remove that the metal back bracket. Just pull these screws out, and it probably has where the ports come out the back here. So it'll be, you know, interesting to try and make that I/O board and determine that pinout. And I showed these Texas Instrument chips before, had even a few fall out. These are these are, you know, what I would perceive as authentic, or they're not. They look by the way that they're marked, and there's no, shouldn't be any reason to do these as knockoffs. And this is a U.S. Seller that I got these from, and effectively, you know, the package I'm looking for, and I'll have to just determine how I get a socket on there, and low enough profile and everything else. And I actually want that chip to be able to be swapped out, whether it's this is the 16C451 without the 5.0 buffers, and then this has a single support for a single serial port and single parallel port on it. Bidirectional parallel port too, even for the 451 chip. And if you get the 551, that'll just add the UART, the newer UART version ultimately that has the 5.0 buffer, 16 byte first in, first out buffer for the serial port. So that's all planned. I have 10 of these chips. I need to pick up some sockets and other logic when I go through there and kind of figure those out a little bit more. But that is what I'm looking at. I'm really glad to have those brochures. I'm going to go through and I'm going to scan these and put them up. Later on, I can go through and I can link where those are, where these scans of these are up on the web, where those adapters. And it just perked up my interest a little bit because these adapters were pictured right where that I/O daughter card would be, over the top of these nice looking gold chips here. And I wish I had a picture or some other guide to go by. It's probably discrete. It's probably a separate UART chip and separate chips for the parallel port. But I sure wish I had at least a picture of that, just to kind of see the basic layout. So let me get back up on screen here. Oh gosh, I'm still over a half hour. I try and have short videos, honest, and go over this time. But I hope you like this content. I know I'd gone over a little bit of these boards before, and I just wanted to be a little bit more complete. And I realize it's going to be a long process for me to go through the pinouts and things like that, start working with it. But I just wanted to kind of show those off again once I received the brochures. Waiting on the brochures before I did this video. And so, you know, you're going to see the off-the-wall content. I've been really happy. I'm back still in a little bit of a cycle of a video every day. That's a little bit of a challenge sometimes. And I always have to cool down the studio a little bit right now. We're getting into a little bit better weather. And I mean, even this gets out of the windows open, and hopefully the mic doesn't pick up, you know, speeding cars or anything else. I came up here and there's a deer crossing the road for that wildlife that's out there under the full moon. But, you know, click on that like button if you enjoy this content. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. We're growing in subscribers. I looked right before the started recording the video, and it's up at 525 subscribers. And that is just absolutely fabulous. But that is all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.